Tonight, tracking the spread of a nasty bug.
Once the item is contaminated, we cannot wash the parasite off.
The message here at home about a food-related outbreak.
Make sure you always, as normal good practice, wash everything well.
That's made thousands sick in the U.S. Going up again.
If you're not filling up today, then you're going to be very disappointed.
The forces driving yet another price spike at the gas pumps. Plus, still going down.
It is a tough time. Sellers need to have realistic expectations.
Home prices continuing to tumble across Waterloo region, bucking the typical summer trend. Good evening. The kind of healthy staples that are also found in Canadian kitchens are believed to be carrying a problematic parasite south of the border. Thousands of cases of Cyclosporiasis are suspected across the U.S. since May. The infection is known to cause serious stomach issues. Let's go to CTV's Alexandra Hollick now for more on this. Alexandra, the U.S. seeing an outbreak of this foodborne illness. What about here in Canada and specifically southwestern Ontario?
Well, so far we're in the clear here, Tony. The Public Health Agency of Canada says it isn't monitoring any outbreaks of Cyclosporiasis at this point. But health officials are urging people to be mindful of what they eat, especially if they plan to travel south this summer.
Whether it's a leafy green or summer berries, washing your produce seems like standard procedure. But even a thorough rinse can't compete with a microscopic parasite causing major problems. It's called Cyclospora, and it's spreading rapidly across the United States.
It can contaminate water or fresh fruits and vegetables when that human feces becomes in contact with those items, typically through contaminated irrigation water.
The bug is usually found in subtropical regions like South America, Asia, the Caribbean, and Africa. Common culprits include lettuce, cilantro, basil, green onions, raspberries, and snow peas, to name a few.
Particularly those that have non-smooth surfaces, so things with nooks and crannies.
You wouldn't be able to tell if it landed on your plate, and the good news is the infection isn't deadly. But symptoms similar to other foodborne illnesses can show up within a couple of days and last a couple of months.
Mostly people complain about fairly severe, sometimes explosive diarrhea, and that can make people very ill.
Here in Canada, it's not uncommon to see a handful of cyclosporiasis cases every year. While health officials are closely monitoring the situation north and south of the border, they're also urging travelers to stay safe.
If you're going into the U.S. right now, to avoid uncooked fruit and vegetables.
Choose instead fresh fruits that have smooth surfaces, things like grapes, or perhaps rinds that could be peeled.
With the outbreak happening in the U.S. and still no root cause, health officials here say this could be another reason to buy locally grown fruits and vegetables to prevent the chance of picking up that parasite from imported produce. Tony.
Okay, Alexandra, thank you. CTV's Alexandra Hollick joining us live with that report. All right, time now to take a first look at the weather. Let's head back outside onto our patio once again. Ashley Bacon joining us live. Right, Ashley, in the middle of this heat wave. Boy, it was a scorcher out there today.
Oh yeah, Tony, we're at the peak pretty much this afternoon, and it is definitely still hot out here. The saving grace, there's a nice wind, so at least we're getting a little bit of wind. Even though it's a hot wind blowing at you, I'll take it over no wind at all. And certainly today was going to be the hottest day of this current heat wave number 2 of the summer thus far. Let's take a look at Environment Canada's heat warning, which was issued yesterday and is expected to continue at least until tomorrow, potentially Thursday for southwestern Ontario. We could see temperatures up to 37 degrees, feeling closer to 45 at times. Right now, we're still sitting at 33, a westerly wind at 28 kilometers an hour. And believe it or not, Tony, the humidity's not too bad here. We're sitting around 38, a little bit south of us, Sarnia, Windsor, 43, 44, so it could be worse. And that being said, I don't think anyone is too worried about reaching those numbers. It's definitely hot enough for me. I'm sure for yourself. The good news is we are looking at this ending in just a couple of days. We just have to get through at least one more night and day of some extreme heat. But I'll get through all of that information coming up with our full full weather forecast a little later in the show. Tony.
Get over inside here and cool down with me, Ash. That's for sure. Thank you. We'll talk to you a little bit later. A plan to clear the path for churches in Waterloo region to add housing on their properties, in the city of Waterloo, I should say, is getting some pushback. The city identified 14 properties that could fit the city's criteria for housing if the churches wanted to participate. But 2 of those churches are already telling the city, no thanks. CTV's Jeff Pickle live now with more on this story. Jeff, we've seen several churches across the region add housing on their properties. Clearly, though, this is not a plan for everyone.
Well, Tony, and the concept is simple. Many churches have more space than they need, so the city is looking to make it easier for them to pursue development options. The neighbors of one church pushing back fiercely against the idea, while another says they already have built additional housing 40 years ago. It's been a trend for the last several years, churches creating housing on unused space. The city of Waterloo put together a program making this easier for others who wish to do the same.
What we were looking at is 14 faith-based properties that are 1 acre in size or larger and could have the ability to undertake additional uses if they wish.
14 properties were identified by the city. Now 2 are saying no thanks.
Subsidized housing, any kind of like medium density, higher density housing, of course we need that, but it can't be in neighborhoods that were not designed with the infrastructure for that.
Neighbors of the Church of God in the Westvale neighborhood pleading with the church and the city not to go this route. The church asking the city to take its name off the list.
We do actually. We put extra pews at the back. So
another Waterloo church, First Baptist on Herb Street, also asking to be removed, but for a different reason.
1982 was when this church was built, and the pastor at the time saw a need for housing in the area, low-income housing. So we have built beside us a building that we call Woodland Terrace.
First Baptist added 60 low-income housing units to the property. Additionally, they say unlike some churches, they don't have the space.
We need a bigger parking lot. So I can see churches maybe that don't have the same volume. They have a little extra space, and we just don't.
Oak says they love the concept, but say the city could have done a better job with the rollout.
I think it was more people in the church that we were caught off guard. So we assured them, we're like, the city's not trying to do anything behind our back. It's just, we just need a conversation. And we did, and it was fine.
The city says the plan was never about forcing development, but about making the zoning process easier, saying the zoning bylaw amendment is seeking to provide flexibility as to how the properties can be used, and there is no requirement that property owners undertake any development as a result. And the city staff say they are proceeding with projects on other properties as the city looks to get creative and find more ways to build some much needed housing. Tony?
Okay, appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us live. Renewed hostilities in the Middle East are rocking global energy markets once again, and they're also driving gas prices up. Experts expecting another big jump overnight tonight with no immediate relief on the horizon. CTV's Colton Weens standing by now at a gas station in Kitchener this evening. And Colton, you're hearing this is just the beginning of more higher prices this summer.
Yeah, Tony, experts say your best bet is probably fueling up tonight as prices in the region of Waterloo at the pump are expected to go up around 8 cents a liter overnight. And as hostilities continue to rise around the world, reserves are dropping, which is just the start of price increases at the pump this summer.
If you're not filling up today, then you're going to be very disappointed because the prices are likely to hold at least until Thursday.
Canadians for Affordable Energy President Dan McTeague is predicting gas prices in the region of Waterloo will go up 8 cents overnight and diesel up by 12 cents. Regular gas expected to hit $1.72 by Wednesday and $2.06 for diesel.
Now, Thursday could have been a 4-cent increase. It looks like we're only getting a 1-cent increase, a bit of a reprieve, and that's because Trump had suggested a 20% toll on all cargo. He's since back down on that.
McTeague says as the conflict in the Strait of Hormuz continues, shrinking emergency oil supplies will keep prices at the pump high.
The world is continuously creeping towards a shortage in supply, not just of oil, but we're now starting to see it in gasoline and diesel.
The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most important oil shipping routes. McTagg says as other areas of oil supply see unrest, critical emergency supplies are running out.
The U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve can't go below 300 million barrels. It's at 316 right now, maybe even 315 today. It means that the world no longer has the buffer. And as long as it doesn't have that buffer, it's only a matter of time before markets really wake up and recognize we have a serious energy crisis.
McTagg says prices will start to reflect that, predicting major impacts in the next 2 weeks.
End of July, first week of August. It means the world is quickly running out of oil, available oil to meet demand. So it's pretty clear to me that you can only ignore economic fundamentals for so long. And the complacency by Wall Street may be one thing, but the reality is about to hit everybody pretty darn hard. And I think, unfortunately, the 8-cent increase we're going to get overnight is only a small taste of what's to come in the next couple of weeks.
And while prices are expected to go up again, there is one recommendation McTagg always has for consumers looking to save a buck, and that's to fuel up after 6 at night, as that's when the gas prices tend to be at their lowest at the pump. Tony.
Colton, thank you. CTV's Colton Weens reporting live in Kitchener. And in the Persian Gulf, the U.S. and Iran exchanged strikes for a third night. Of course, all of this in relation to that conflict in the Strait of Hormuz. And now we're learning that 2 Canadian ships were stuck in the middle. CTV's Judy Trin has more.
2 Canadian cargo ships have been stuck in the Strait of Hormuz for 136 days. The vessels, owned by Quebec company Desgagnés, have been unable to get out during a ceasefire that didn't hold.
The tension is extreme right now, so I'll say we were a little bit unlucky in the time and space here.
On the weekend, Tehran launched attacks on tankers belonging to U.S. regional allies. A ship from India was also hit, while Washington struck Iran's port cities and vessels. Donald Trump is reimposing the naval blockade, but walking back plans to charge ship protection fees. The U.S. president says Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait made him a different offer.
It was never fair to me that we would be guarding the strait when we basically don't take it. We don't need the oil at all. They said we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars.
The war on the waterway has prevented the 2 ships owned by Desgagnés from returning to Canada to embark on deliveries to the Arctic Circle as the ice melts. Desgagnés has had to hire replacement ships from Europe in order to deliver essential supplies to northern communities.
This was a big cost. So we had to brought the ship here in Montreal, pay the fuel, pay the crew, pay the renting of the ship.
There are currently no Canadians on board Desgagnés stranded ships. Most of its crew are from the Philippines or Ukraine. And just 3 weeks ago, the company was able to get replacement merchant marines on board its ships. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
A reminder to start your day in the know with the CTV Kitchener newsletter. The best local content from our newsroom, right to your inbox every morning. We've got a look at the day's top news stories, the latest weather forecast, and some must-see videos. You can find that by signing up for the newsletter at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Why did Ontario's tourism minister charge thousands in hotel expenses to taxpayers in the city where he lives? Just ahead, CTV's Siobhan Morris is looking into that story for us at Queen's Park today.
I'm Karis Mapp. A vehicle theft in Guelph became a race against the clock for police once they discovered a child was in the back seat. We'll explain how this bizarre story all unfolded and how it thankfully came to a safe conclusion. That's just ahead.
Hot, humid, clear skies expected through the overnight and into your Wednesday. But what will your weekend bring with you? All those details with your full forecast coming up. Stay with us.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Around 20,000 hogs were killed in a massive barn fire early this morning at a farm in Norfolk County. Crews were called to the farm on Highway 3 just outside Simcoe at around 6:45. 40 firefighters from 8 stations were showing up at that call. The entire barn was engulfed by flames. No other injuries reported. The cause remains under investigation, but officials say it is not considered suspicious. A scary situation in Guelph where police say a vehicle was stolen from a parking lot with a 4-year-old child sleeping in the back seat. CTV's Karis Mapp joins us now with more on what we've been able to learn here. Karis, first of all, we've got to point out the child is safe.
That's right, Tony. Thankfully, the child was found unharmed. This started with a theft from a nearby business and a suspect who was looking for a quick escape. Police were called to this plaza on Willow Road around 4:20 yesterday afternoon. An employee at the Big Bear Food Mart telling CTV News they asked a man to leave their store because he was acting suspiciously, trying to take things without paying and exposing himself in the store. The employee says they were worried the man was under the influence, so they followed him outside where he got into a running vehicle. The employee then called police and reported the license plate number. A short time later, the employee said a woman ran outside frantically, claiming her SUV had been stolen and that her child was in the back seat. Police found the vehicle nearby about 16 minutes later. The child was found uninjured and still asleep inside.
It's all hands on deck. You know, and when we hear a call come over the radio that there's been a vehicle stolen with a child inside, everyone is immediately concerned for the safety of the child. It's a very dangerous situation being with an unknown person. We don't know what their motives or their capabilities are. So certainly when that call came in, every officer, frankly, that was able to respond did, and that includes detectives, some of our detective branches, patrol officers obviously out on the road. Every officer in the city that was available to respond did so.
Police are calling this a best case outcome, but are also reminding drivers, especially during a heat wave, children and animals should not be left unattended in a vehicle, even for a short time. A 29-year-old Guelph man is now charged with theft of a motor vehicle, theft under $5,000, and committing an indecent act. Tony.
Okay, Karis, thank you for those details. CTV's Karis Mapp joining us. Ontario's tourism minister is facing scrutiny over his housing expenses. Public records reveal taxpayers have been footing the bill for thousands of dollars in hotel stays for Stan Cho. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more on the growing push for accountability.
Stan Cho has been called one of the rising stars of the provincial government. But now there are questions about the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Gaming's expenses.
The minister got caught with his hands in the cookie jar.
Since 2023, taxpayers have covered more than $16,000 worth of Toronto hotel stays filed by Cho. The thing is, his home is just 6 kilometers from the Ontario legislature. MPPs who live within 50 kilometers of Queen's Park aren't eligible to have the public pick up the tab for a hotel unless there's an emergency like a snowstorm.
Now, I'd like to know why Doug Ford's ministers think it is acceptable to live the sweet life on the taxpayer dime while Ontarians every day right now are struggling just to afford the basics.
Cho's office said they couldn't accommodate an interview, but the minister shared a statement writing, "While these expenses meet the criteria for special circumstances, I will be personally reimbursing the legislature for the entire amount of the expenses incurred." The minister hasn't explained the reason for these hotel stays or why they were initially billed to taxpayers. That's leaving opposition leaders to come up with their own theories.
Because he felt entitled to them, right? Entitled to them, just like his boss felt entitled to the luxury private jet, right? And the MO with this government is, let's see what we can get away with.
The Ford government called Deb Hutton for a refresher on conflict of interest after the Greenbelt scandal. Now she says the Premier needs to make sure his MPPs understand what's acceptable to expense, something she thinks has slipped.
We're past the point where just adhering to what the actual policy is really smart. You need to actually respect tax dollars. And I think in this case, Stan Cho didn't.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Now to a CTV News investigation into what happens when a police officer lies on the stand in court. As CTV's John Woodward tells us, there may be troubling gaps in a system that is supposed to report dishonest officers.
This is surveillance video in a parkade in London, Ontario. That's a Toronto man on the ground getting arrested, and there, a police officer kicks him in the face, something a judge found the officer lied about in testimony.
It's surprising because it's an easy lie to catch if the officer is saying one thing, but the objective video evidence is showing another.
Dishonesty by police on the stand happens occasionally. A report by Western University earlier this year identified since 2015 11 cases where officers from the Toronto Police Service and Peel Regional Police lied or provided false testimony. In high-profile cases, police forces often take action directly, like in this case from 2015, where a judge found a Peel officer stole a Tony Montana statue from a storage locker during a search and lied about it. Not all cases make the news. Prosecutors have an obligation to flag an officer to their own police service if a trial crown becomes aware of credible and reliable information that an officer has been deliberately untruthful under oath. An FOI by CTV News shows that's happened 28 times in the last decade. But those cases identified in the Western report weren't on the list, a sign that there are gaps in the system, says NDP MPP Jenny Stevens.
An overwhelming majority of police officers serve with integrity. So I want to be very clear, you know, honesty in the justice system is a non-negotiable.
A spokesperson for Ontario's Attorney General said our list may not capture some types of cases, but stressed it is fundamental to the administration of justice that police officers' statements made under oath are truthful. When confronted with the dishonesty at court over this incident in London, the judge's reaction was to toss the charges. John Woodward, CTV News.
All right, a live look outside now. King Street East through Kitchener's Deer Ridge and Sports World areas. A visual reminder that if you haven't been down this way in a long time and you're heading down this way, you're going to encounter some delays. King Street down to one lane in both directions through this area. Very, very hazy night no matter where you are out and about in the region. Lots of humidity. Ashley's back with our forecast in just a few minutes. Also coming up, down and down they go. Falling home prices across Waterloo region proving to be an unusual trend right through the summer. But next, a deadly shooting in Maine brings U.S. ICE agents back under scrutiny again and also brings news of a new approach. All right, we're back with a look at our forecast, talking about getting outside, doing some things outside. I can't think of anything that would have been really comfortable to do outside today. Even bringing the pets outside, you had to think about being smart about that.
Absolutely. Be careful with your loved ones, including your four-legged friends at home, because it is too hot for them. If it's too hot for you, it's definitely too hot for them. And if you have the means to do so, maybe a good idea to leave a little bit of water around your property for all of our wildlife, too.
Yeah, it's a good idea to just think of them and to think of the people in your life who may be vulnerable right now or not have access to the same kind of air conditioning or whatnot. We got to think about our neighbors.
Absolutely. It's definitely a time that we look out for one another. And let's take another look back outside at this beautiful weather, Tony, because frankly, I love it. You know I do. This is gorgeous. I'm here for the summer, but I understand that it can be quite difficult for a lot of folks out there, especially when we see days like today where we're in the middle of a heat wave. We're technically at the peak of this heat wave as we speak. So we're going to continue to see temperatures pretty warm for at least the next 24 hours. Overnight, not really expected to dip too low. and then tomorrow. But it's tomorrow night where things start to cool down. As we take a look at our heat yellow watch, is a reminder we are continuing to be under this watch issued by Environment Canada yesterday, at least until tomorrow, potentially Thursday. But as we get a little further in the cast, I'll explain what we're looking at as we get into the weekend and how things are starting to cool off. Right now, though, as we take to our future cast, there is nothing but clear skies. Now, tomorrow, we might start to see some haze. There's lots of forest fires happening to the north and west of us, in other provinces, of course, as well. So we have to keep in mind that we could see some haze tomorrow. We could see a little bit of overcast, and that is all because of this extreme heat we've been feeling from coast to coast to coast. Now, as we get into the weekend, we might see some showers, but right now across the country, a beautiful day on the west coast, 23 with sunshine in Vancouver. On the other side of the Rockies, 26 with a mix of sun and cloud in Edmonton. And as we push further east in through the prairie provinces, 26 for Saskatoon and Thompson, a very warm day, Iqaluit 12 and sunny. And as we get closer to home in Ottawa, this is where things are really heating up. 31 Thunder Bay, 36 for Toronto and Windsor, Ottawa 35, Quebec City a little cooler there. They're seeing a system go through right now with the thunderstorm, and further east things not as sunny in the maritime provinces. We are getting a bit of sun in Newfoundland, but of course down in Halifax, Fredericton, Charlottetown, a little bit of cloud cover there, still very comfortable conditions. Here though, 33 degrees out there, still feeling closer to about 38 with the humidity, so not a wide range of humidity at this stage, but definitely I don't think anyone's complaining. We don't need it. It's hot out there. And tonight, things are not really cooling off. 23, the expected overnight low. And then tomorrow, things heating back up to around 31, feeling closer to 39 with the humidity. And I want to keep an eye out on our records because our record was set in 1936 at 35.6. So we could very well break that record today. So we're keeping an eye on it. We'll see what Environment Canada has to say, hopefully tomorrow, on whether or not we beat that. And as we get a closer look at our 7-day forecast, this is where things start to take a change. Tomorrow night, we are expected to dip back down to 16, so better sleeping conditions are on the way. We have to get through tonight and tomorrow. In Lambton, Kent, Essex, though, things are still going to remain quite warm there, at least through the remainder of the work week, with temperatures overnight not dipping below 21 until Saturday. So bear with everybody. It's going to be hot there at least a few more days. In southern Georgian Bay, things a little bit somewhat more similar to Waterloo region. A warm day ahead on Wednesday, but by tomorrow night, things are starting to take a little bit of a cool down, and then a very beautiful Thursday, Friday ahead at 26 degrees. Okay, let's take a look at today's Weather Watcher picture sent in by Glenn and Teresa of their burning bush taken at their trailer in Waterloo. Now, this is what it's supposed to look like normally, Tony, but when the light hits right, you would think it's on fire. I had to do like 3 or 4 double takes on this, and finally someone pointed out that there's no smoke, so it is just the way the sun is hitting it. Isn't that cool?
That is incredible. I think I learned about that plant today.
I've never seen anything like it, so I was very much enthralled with it.
Alan, our resident green thumb, is going to be disappointed at us for not knowing what that was.
100%.
But great eye and great picture.
Yes.
Thank you to them.
Thank you so much.
Ash, thank you. We'll talk to you a little bit later in the show.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, looking at some other news now. A deadly shooting at a traffic stop in Maine involving immigration enforcement agents has resulted in a major change of approach. CTV's Joy Malbin has more on the deepening concerns over ICE tactics.
After a wave of fatal shootings by ICE agents, the Trump administration is putting a halt on these dramatic vehicle stops. It's a major policy shift after this recent incident. This footage shows a white car driving in a circle. It's unclear if this was before or after shots were fired at a traffic stop in Biddeford, Maine. ICE agents say they were targeting someone for removal as they pull what appears to be a limp body from the car, handcuffing his hands, the windshield covered with bullet holes.
You put him on the ground, and I heard the young man say, "I tried to stop," clearly heard him say that.
Turns out the man fatally shot was not the target. Johann Sebastian Guerrero was a 26-year-old Colombian man authorized to work in the U.S., according to officials.
ICE doesn't want to admit what a botched operation that this was a wrongly targeted person, but somebody who was just going to work, and their death was witnessed by a 3-year-old child.
From protests in Maine.
I don't know what he did, but he didn't deserve to be executed in the street.
To anger in Houston, Texas, where another family is in mourning. Lorenzo Zelgado Araujo shot and killed by ICE agents last week. He, too, was the wrong target, and in both cases, ICE agents were not wearing body cameras. Civil rights organizations have filed lawsuits against aggressive tactics by ICE, an agency under pressure to deliver President Trump's promise of mass deportations. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
Still ahead, Ontario stands firm on keeping a stockpile of U.S. booze locked up. But a homegrown beverage producer is expanding. We'll look at a brewery that's taking over one of the largest wineries in the southwestern part of Ontario, coming up in Business News. If you've been holding out hope for a break in the local housing market, new numbers suggest that the tide is continuing to turn in favor of buyers. The latest Royal LePage house price survey shows home prices in Waterloo region continuing to drop, with the condo market taking the hardest hit. CTV's Heather Centerin breaks it down for us. And Heather, this is welcome news for buyers, but certainly not for those who might be wanting to sell right now.
If you're selling your home, real estate experts say patience is key. The winter market was extremely slow, the spring was quite subdued, and the summer is likely to mirror those trends. Packed open houses and bidding wars galore seem to be a thing of the past. These days in Waterloo region, homes sit on the market for a lot longer.
This isn't the pandemic where things sold in 7 days on offer days. So, yeah, definitely on my end, I'm seeing 40+ days easily.
Another thing long gone, pandemic pricing.
The average price of a house has literally gone down about $300,000 since the pandemic.
According to the latest Royal LePage data, the aggregate price of a home in the region dipped nearly 3% year over year in the second quarter, sitting at just under $700,000.
Definite decrease really across the board, with probably the most prominent decrease in terms of average sale price of condos, which was about 8% year over year.
A buyer's market now means sellers will not have it easy.
It is a tough time. Sellers need to have realistic expectations.
Before the market can bounce back, Milovic says something's got to give.
With our unemployment rate being much higher than the average, we really need that catalyst. Whether it's reduced interest rates that helps with affordability, we really need something to happen. Whether it's or certainty from a tariff perspective, I think those are going to be the things that are right now holding us back.
On the bright side, inventory levels are healthy, with first-time buyers and those with built-up equity being the most active groups, keeping investors on the sidelines for now.
The challenge, though, is that with a lot of these condos, they were geared more towards renters as opposed to families.
Real estate experts expect these trends to continue for the rest of 2026 into next year, when the market might be ready to rebound. Last month, the Cornerstone Association of Realtors said home sales in Waterloo region dipped by nearly 3% compared to the previous year, marking the slowest June ever on record. Tony.
All right, Heather, thank you for that. CTV's Heather Centerin joining us live. The Ford government is racking up a considerable tab to keep American alcohol off store shelves in Ontario. It's cost the Ford government $8 million so far to store U.S. spirits, wine, cider, and beer. The products were pulled from the LCBO and other retailers in March of 2025 in response to President Donald Trump's tariffs. U.S. booze sales in Ontario previously totaled $965 million a year. The province says U.S. alcohol will remain unavailable until the tariffs are removed. A southern Ontario brewery is expanding, taking over one of the larger wineries in the southwestern part of the province. As CTV's Scott Miller reports, more growth could soon be on the way.
Midwestern Ontario's largest brewery is now
in the winery business.
Over the years, we've worked to diversify our portfolios. So we now have a ready-to-drink brand called Hijinks, and we have a spirits brand called 12 Apostles, and we also make cider under the Cowbell banner. So really, the only type of beverage that was missing from our portfolio was wine.
In March, Cowbell Brewing, based in Blythe, bought the sprawling Dark Horse Estate Winery near Grand Bend. The original owners of the family-run winery that opened in 2014 were looking to sell.
We were approached by the previous owners last August, actually, so just about a year ago. They knew that we were heavily invested in the region. They know that we're very big on the hospitality and beverage format, and so this facility just made sense.
Fritzley says Cowbell, which opened in 2017 in Blythe, was seeing tremendous growth, and they were looking for growth opportunities. The 93-acre Grand Bend winery, now called Sterling Sands Vineyards, officially opened today, although they've been open under the new banner since late June. Fritzley says not a lot will change at the turnkey winery. They'll change up some wine varieties, more than triple the dining space, and really promote Sterling Sands as an event facility as they aim to fill the modern building and grounds with more customers.
We've been super fortunate with the Huron Country Playhouse, quite literally right in our parking lot. We have definitely seen a lot of business come from them, which has been absolutely fantastic. That was something that we were really looking forward to.
It's perfectly situated along the coast, and the views are stunning, and we're just very grateful to be here.
Now, Fritzley wouldn't divulge many details, but it appears as though Cowbell isn't done expanding in the beverage and hospitality arena.
We anticipate that there is more to come, both from a beverage and a hospitality perspective, so stay tuned, and we hope to be sharing more with you over the next year.
Near Grand Bend, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Okay, let's recap our top stories now on this Tuesday evening. Leanne Evans in studio with all the details as we continue to keep an eye here in Ontario on that gastrointestinal illness outbreak that's been spreading around the U.S.
Yeah, the infection, cyclosporiasis, is known to cause serious stomach issues. Health officials are urging people to be mindful of what they eat, especially if they plan to travel south this summer, because it is linked to foods like lettuce, cilantro, basil, green onions, raspberries, and snow peas. A plan to clear the path for churches in Waterloo to add housing on their properties is getting some pushback. The city identified 14 properties that could fit the city's criteria for housing if the churches wanted to participate. But 2 of those churches are now telling the city, no thanks. The city says staff is proceeding with projects on other properties as they look to get creative and find more ways to build that much needed housing.
Okay, and on our website tonight, Leanne, this one caught my eye. Details about a tattoo fundraiser that's going to help animals in need here in the region.
Yeah, this is perfect because anyone wanting to get some new ink can do it in support of the Humane Society of Kitchener-Waterloo and Stratford-Perth. The exclusive flash tattoos will be $125 each, and proceeds will go directly towards those animals in need. To find out where and when the event is happening, you can scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to CTV News Kitchener. Not a bad reason to get a new tattoo.
You know, I don't have any ink. I've never thought I wanted to get any, but in support of the animals, I'm gonna have to think about that.
Maybe now's your time.
You never know. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
Researchers at Western and Fanshawe have teamed up to reduce the amount of textile waste that's ending up in landfills. They're taking old materials and giving them new purpose. CTV's Jerry Dewan reports.
These bits of charred material could help grow more robust plants. At one time, they may have been a shirt or a dress or maybe even a cloth bag.
At the end of the day, we want to transform the concept of waste into a different way of thinking. Waste does not exist. It's a resource for something else.
Professor Franco Barudi is founding director of Western's Institute for Chemicals and Fuels from Alternative Resources, or ICFAR. His researchers have been working in conjunction with Fanshawe College's Center for Research and Innovation towards dramatically reducing the amount of textile waste going into landfills.
We have a real problem with textile waste and the amount of clothing that we discard.
Jennifer Wright is a professor and researcher from Fanshawe's fashion design program who has been looking for solutions to the clothing waste problem for a number of years.
We've been collaborating on different stages of this project now for 3 to 4 years.
What the researchers have landed on is biochar, using extreme heat to separate the elements of materials, leaving a charcoal-like substance free of chemicals. One application for biochar could be for enhancing soil for crops, with greenhouse experiments showing encouraging results.
It have the soil hold on to the water and nutrients better for the crops, and then also it gives some habitats for the microbes.
The plan now is to create a test plot on IC4 lands growing crops using biochar.
Another benefit is that we are putting carbon back in the soil, and this is a carbon sequestration opportunity.
The researchers are working with Goodwill Great Lakes, headquartered in London. In recent years, Goodwill has held an annual Worn and Torn event encouraging people to donate all fabric materials, no matter how worn or soiled they may be, rather than throwing them in the trash. The researchers have applied for a federal grant to increase the scale of their work and are looking for a wider range of applications for the materials, possibly leading to commercial opportunities. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Canada's First Nations leaders demand more action on clean water. Just ahead, their ask to the Prime Minister as the Assembly of First Nations annual General Assembly gets underway. Almost exactly a year ago, Prime Minister Mark Carney convened a meeting with First Nations where he promised to meaningfully consult Indigenous communities on major projects. Today, many of those same leaders are back in Ottawa. And as CTV's Rachel Aiello tells us, many chiefs say they're still waiting to see what that consultation looks like.
Projects built with Indigenous partners.
That was Prime Minister Mark Carney this time last summer, vowing full Indigenous cooperation and participation would be key to getting major projects built. But since then, few nation-building initiatives have advanced, and so the government is preparing further legislation to speed up project approvals, and that is sparking fresh concerns for First Nations.
The federal government can try and set up all the timelines that they want for project approvals, but they can't put a deadline on First Nations rights, and you have rights.
First Nations representatives are gathered in Ottawa this week for the AFN annual general meeting. And Carney's plans to expedite impact assessments for energy and infrastructure developments has taken center stage.
There is more dialogue needed before we agree to any process. We're not going to allow anything to happen without us being involved directly.
Those CTV News spoke with said they still feel left out of the conversation or are lacking the information needed to offer informed consent.
We see Prime Minister Carney all over the country and all over the world talking about our lands and our resources, but yet we have not seen them on the ground to engage us in any sort of fashion, and that needs to happen quickly.
Do the right thing. Do it honestly. We'll move a faster ahead, right?
First Nations leadership will also be discussing child welfare, housing, and calls for the Vatican to rescind a series of papal decrees. They will also hear from a slate of federal cabinet ministers. Mark Carney is not scheduled to speak, though he will be convening a meeting of First Nations chiefs in October. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Hi, we'll have more news coming up. First, let's check in with Ashley.
Well, first came the heat, now comes the poor air quality. Environment Canada just issuing a warning. I'll have details on what it entails coming up. Stay with us. Coming up on CTV tonight, start your night off with E-Talk at 7, followed by back-to-back Big Bang Theory, The Amazing Race Canada at 9, and cap your night off with Password at 10.
KW's Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Listen all summer for your chance to win. Turn the lights off, carry me home. With Bounce to your backyard.
Okay, let's join Leanne now for a story our team is watching tonight. Leanne.
Tony, Cambridge Council is discussing how it will allocate water for projects in the Mannheim service area going forward. Development has been stalled for months due to the region's water capacity crunch. But with more water expected to be available in the coming months, they now have to determine the process to decide which projects will get priority. And in Guelph, Council is looking at what could come for the former W.C. Wood site and surrounding land in the Ward neighborhood at a planning meeting that's happening tonight. We'll have those stories and more at 11:30. Tony.
Okay, Leanne, thank you so much. Lots of community issues on the go tonight, and something that you'll be mindful of no matter where you are is not only this heat, but now we have brand new just coming into us as well, a warning about wildfire smoke.
Absolutely. Thank you, meteorologist Rob Kuhn, for informing us just a moment ago that a new alert has been issued by Environment Canada, a yellow warning for air quality. Now, this is going to affect our region tomorrow. It's caused by the wildfire smoke in northern Ontario coming down to our area. So please be aware of that. If you have any issues with air, make sure that you stay inside, and if possible, keep windows and doors closed whenever possible. It is going to be a rough day out there tomorrow, and we know that it is going to be hot. And just to start off the day, Tony, we are looking at temperatures ranging really up until about 31 for our daytime high tomorrow. So there we go. There's our wake up weather board. Mainly sunny conditions at 23 degrees by 6 a.m., 28 by 10 a.m. The best news, though, is by tomorrow night, that's when it looks like things will start to cool off a little bit. So let's get through tonight and tomorrow, and hopefully that air quality remains okay at least. But be careful out there.
Relief on the way.
Yes.
Well, we've saved the best for last for you.
Thank you.
This is our resident dinosaur fan, very passionate about all things dinosaurs. Sorry if I wasn't supposed to reveal that. No, Ash loves dinosaurs. We all know that, those of us who know her personally. And so I've got to show you a skeleton of one of the largest T-Rexes ever found. It's sold at auction today, and it went for a gargantuan price. So this is now the most expensive fossil sold at auction. It's nicknamed Gus. It fetched the equivalent of $70 million Canadian at Sotheby's, 11.5-meter long T-Rex skeleton. It's about 67 million years old. It was discovered in South Dakota a few years ago.
The auction house says it is one of the most complete T-Rex fossils ever found, and it reportedly shows bite marks and evidence of fractures that the dinosaur survived. The winning bid was placed over the phone by an anonymous buyer.
Anonymous? So it wasn't you?
I don't have an extra 70 million lying around, but if anyone at home wants to buy me a cool skeleton, I will take it.
We'll see if we can get you a miniature. How's that?
That sounds good too.
See you at 11:30. Good night.